So we just got done watching King Kong versus Godzilla, and it was awesome. The first color one thus far, in color, which is always good.
3 7/8 stars.
This was the first one I ever watched as a kid that I remember watching. And Godzilla comes out of the mountain, and I just figured that that's where Godzilla always lived, was in a mountain. And so I just figured every time Godzilla came around, he just bursted out of some sort of mountainous area.
That's kind of like Rodan. He always lives in a volcano.
Right. And so this is, I remember watching this, and I think this was probably my first introduction to King Kong as well, because I hadn't heard or watched the old 20s version. Of course, you know, everyone was familiar with King Kong by that point. You knew who King Kong was, but I hadn't watched the old stop motion movie.
When I was a kid, and like in '94 they came out with all these action figures, I always wanted to get action figures from that movie Congo.
Oh yeah,
because they had like the killer gorillas.
Yeah,
I wanted, because they didn't come out with King Kong toys.
Right. And, okay, so in the American King Kong is fairly small in comparison to Godzilla. So in this version, the way they explain it is that King Kong has been eating a diet of these berries on this island that makes him very, very large, so that there's a way that King Kong and Godzilla can fight one another.
Faroe Island.
Faroe Island.
And when they get there, it's all Japanese and blackface.
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah. What was up with that? Like, they didn't get people that, you know, they didn't get black people to play the characters. They were just, here, we need these natives, so we'll just color you up dark.
I think it was blackface. It could have just been
really dark,
like ethnic Japanese.
We're not very keen on the subtle differences of the
Asian
ethnicities. We apologize if this comes off as racist. But I really enjoyed it.
It's one of my favorite Godzilla suits.
Yeah. The fighting sequences went way better than in the last one, and that's probably partially due to the suit, but partially due to the fact that King Kong was a better match, whereas in the second one it's Anguirus, and he's kind of a quadruped armadillo
like dead
monster.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's funny to note that in this version, it was originally supposed to be Frankenstein instead of King Kong. And you can see that throughout the whole film, because King Kong gets power from electricity and lightning, and this was a holdover from when it was originally supposed to be Frankenstein. So it's as if they just wrote the script for Frankenstein versus Godzilla, got the rights to King Kong, and we're like, well, we're already making this one movie, might as well just swap it out, but don't change anything else.
And instead of having Takei narrate everything, this time we now have these fake, like, CNN kind of news.
Oh yeah, it's like the UN has a spaceship in outer orbit.
It's the same shot every time.
And so they kind of narrated stuff in order, I guess, for an American audience to digest what was happening. You know, I guess
King Kong gets power from electricity. Okay.
Well, okay.
They're big because of these berries. All right.
Well, I believe that. Overall, this was a good entry. I enjoyed it. It's a fun romp. Anything
good in the romp department.
Good in the romp.
Very rompy.
Need to mention the pagoda. We didn't mention it last time, but it's become a trope throughout the Godzilla films for the kaiju to destroy a pagoda.
And this one, like, they were trying to, because it's like Godzilla on one side, King Kong on the other, and like, well, how are we gonna get to each other? Like, tear it down, tear it down.
And so it's just in the way that I guess American films, there's always something that happens to the Statue of Liberty. In these Godzilla films, there's always something happening. I think it's the same pagoda, like a particular pagoda in Japan somewhere. But like in the second one, Godzilla Raids Again, they just kind of destroyed it.
It kind of explodes. It's like it starts cracking because they're near it.
Yeah, like they're fighting. I guess the sheer awesomeness of Godzilla just makes the pagoda crumble. But in this one, they're on one on either side, and they just destroy the thing as if it's some game. So that was our take on it. Next up is
Godzilla versus the Thing, or Mothra versus Godzilla.
right. So in the American, it was the Thing. So we'll get back with you with that one.